Arsenal, a couple of wins in the last week, important wins too. Do you think your side has turned a corner?
We want to show consistency. We have, of course, made the essential is to start to win games again and to make results. And we know that the quality of the team will be judged on our consistency. And we have a desire, we have the spirit, we have the quality. It's now just down to put the effort in every single game. I'm confident we can do that.
Talking about the team news, is Aaron Ramsey available?
He had a little test today, I don't know, we will have practice tomorrow. He has a little chance to be available.
And what's the latest on Thomas Vermaelen?
Thomas Vermaelen is progressing very well. He will be available again after the next international break.
Just finally from me, Blackburn, bottom of the table, just the 1 point, but always one of your toughest away games of the season.
Blackburn is Blackburn. It's always we had good experiences and sometimes disappointing experiences, but over the years we had always good teams. And England is England in the Premier League. When you go away from home, you know you want a top performance to make the result. But I'm confident we can do that.
Arsene, hello. Can we just get you to reflect on the draw in Dortmund, first of all? How difficult was it for you personally, because you were sat the far side of the stadium to the bench, and obviously it was a key European
I'm not used
game.
to that, but overall it was, I feel we have shown a great spirit, great attitude, and it's, for me, Dortmund is a very good side, with a high, certainly in Europe, physically one of the best teams. Considering their physical performance, their team discipline, their effort to win the ball back together. It's the best I've seen this week in Europe.
The players afterwards weren't so much saying, "Oh, it's 2 points dropped," as actually that could have been a really good point gained. Do you kind of agree with that, or
it is? We'll see at the end of this group stage, but overall, you would think that the other two teams can drop points more than two over there. You always have a little bit that feeling, but overall I feel the draw is a fair result. Dortmund created some chances as well, and they scored a little bit what you can call sometimes a lucky goal, but they were always putting pressure on us and always going forward, and overall it's a good point.
And the three new players that obviously all started, played key roles for you. I mean, what are your observations on how they're settling in?
Good. I believe that if you look at the class of their attitude, we were right. At their intelligence level, we were right. At their quality, we were right. So they need to take a little bit time, certainly, to know the other players well, to find a good balance in the team. But it's positive.
Because they've kind of been dropped in at the deep end in a sense, though, haven't they? There was the 8-2, and then the transfer window shutting, and then the first game with all the sort of media spotlight on Arsenal, and then a difficult away game in Europe. But they seem to have come through those tests.
Exactly, that's what you lose your confidence quickly with the result we made at Old Trafford, and you gain it back slowly, and that's what we try to do from game to game. Work hard for each other, and get back. Then the other side of our game will come out.
This is the first away league game since the Old Trafford thing, and it's back in the northwest. But a very different kind of challenge, though, isn't it? This one.
Well, you have to consider that last year we were the best away team in the league, and that result is one-off result. You cannot take that as a general rule. And what we have achieved over the last few years away from home, that's what is regular. People forget how much effort we put in at Udinese, and how many players we lost as well before that game at Old Trafford.
Do you have any sympathy for Steve Keane and the kind of, well, he's been getting a fair bit of criticism lately from...
I have a lot of sympathy for Steve Keane, and he's a young manager. You want to give him time to do his job, and you a lot of time complain that the English managers don't get a chance, what I understand and what I accept. But when they have a chance, you must give them time. It's like for everybody.
And just how is Jack Wilshere getting on? Any news on his injury? Yeah?
I cannot give you any news because he's in a boot for 1 month. So the test will come when you get after the 4 weeks.
Arsenal, Pat Rice said after the game this week that he did feel that Arsenal had turned the corner, yet when that question was asked you just now, you stopped short of perhaps agreeing with him.
No, I don't disagree with Pat Rice. We feel yes, but we will be judged on the consistency of our results. We feel inside the club that we are on the right track, that the spirit is in the team is good, strong, together. But we want, of course, only chase the skepticism around us if we are consistent with our results, and let's get result after result and stick together and not talk too much.
Has there been a discernible change in atmosphere in the camp this week after you win against Swansea?
Yes, the atmosphere, of course, was very down after our Old Trafford game, but since we have put two results together, that changes straight away the atmosphere in the camp.
Just one final question from me about money that's coming into football, a la PSG and Anzi. How significant, I know you've spoken about this before, but how significant do you feel it is, and do you feel it represents a threat to the established order?
What do you call the established order? In the Premier League?
Yeah, and in Europe.
Well, at the end of the day, you know that you will not see the poorest teams winning the Champions League. That's impossible. Money is a very important factor in success, not the only one, but it's the quality of the work, the length, the duration of your work as well that plays a part. But of course, it has a big input, and but we'll see at the end of the season. You know, people want always have always at the moment definite opinion. One game played, everybody knows who will win the European Cup, everybody knows who will win the Championship, everybody knows absolutely everything, but they just forget when it's wrong the next day, nobody says, sorry, I was wrong.
And Eto'o moving to Anzi for wages of millions of euros, I mean, what do you feel about that?
Sorry?
I say Eto'o moving to Anzi for wages of millions of euros. What do you feel about that? Do you think that's good for the game, or what are your reflections on that for the game?
I believe that you spend the money you have inside the club, and to people who deserve it. The responsibility of the player. I'm very happy when the players make a lot of money. With one restriction, the attitude has to be right. That means you have to show that you give absolutely everything to deserve it, and for the managers is exactly the same, and that you have an honest behavior towards your club. That means you give everything to justify the money you make, and if that money is what the club earns, I'm all right with that.
Okay.
Arsene, if last weekend against Swansea was perhaps about more just getting that first win, getting that first victory of the season, this weekend at Blackburn, are you maybe looking for something a bit more from the side, something of an impressive performance?
Well, for us at the moment, what is important is the points, but the best way to get the points, where I agree with you, is to play well. So we want to play well. And against Swansea, we were under massive pressure, and we'll be again. So, but let's focus to have the ball, to play our game, and then we have a chance to win the game.
Arsene, you said there about change the scepticism outside from the club, but the easiest way to do that and shut us all up is just to win, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no. That's the easiest solution to everybody, because while you're winning, you're not going to get all this.
That's the only solution. You know, we live in an environment that questions us when you don't win. What you agree completely. We cannot criticize that. We have to live with that, and. We have to show performances and consistency and quality of attitude quality, and that makes us respected. It's as simple as that. But that's why at the moment it's important we don't talk too much and just play as well as we can.
Because that's the thing, it's important not to let this perceived negativity from outside impact on you when you.
It has always an influence, but it's the strengths of your attitude and the mental strength of the club and of the players stops that influence a little bit. It never wipes it out completely, but it can stop it. And the best thing is your last result. You know.
Do you think the situation with Blackburn serves as a warning to, you know, the likes of Manchester City and all these other clubs of what can happen when the money men get bored and don't want to pump any more money in?
Well, you know my opinion about that. I spoke about that many times. I have not a lot to add to that.
Just picking up on that, Steve Keane, as we know, is under a lot of pressure. He's a new manager that's had no experience before this job. How hard is it for a new manager to come in and manage in the Premier League?
It's hard for everybody, even for those who manage for 30 years. So I just believe this job is difficult. Everybody who has been in it knows it, and how much, how hard, it depends on the situation where you're in at the moment where I talk. You know, where it's hard when you don't win. It's very hard.
Just ask you about Yossi Benayoun. How much of a role do you expect him to play? Do you plan for him to play this season?
To contribute as much as he can to the success of the squad, like every other player, not more, not less. Gives his best every time you play, and integrate well the way we want to play football. What I think he can do, he can play on the flanks, where he can play in the middle. Even I think he prefers to play on the flank. But overall, he has shown on Tuesday night that he's physically completely fit again.
It's a loan deal. You've not,
Yeah.
I think 5 years as Baptista, I think, was the last loan deal. Is there any? Do you plan to perhaps make it a permanent deal maybe next summer?
It's too early to say that at the moment.
But you wouldn't rule it out.
No.
Yeah, hello, Japanese media. Does Ryo Miyaichi have a chance to play this weekend in Blackburn? And if not, how about the Current Cup next week?
Yes.
This weekend?
Yes to both questions.
He traveled to Blackburn this weekend?
I don't know. But certainly on Tuesday against Shrewsbury.